After almost 2 decades of work, a bill now meets the mayor's desk to expand voting rights to some non-citizen New Yorkers.
It's a victory for democracy. Non-citizens have been voting longer than not.
We've been really moving it forward over the past 2 years to bring it to victory, while other places across the nation are trying to limit and suppress who can vote.
New York City is showing another way of how to do business when it comes to expanding voting rights.
On December 9th,
Intro 1867A is hereby adopted.
The Our City, Our Vote bill passed in City Council. The bill extends voting rights to about 800,000 non-citizen New Yorkers who are authorized to work in the United States. It also allows green card holders and temporary status recipients to cast their ballots.
So it's going to touch every immigrant population, every ethnic and racial group in our beautiful city.
The new voting bloc will be able to vote for offices such as borough president and city mayor, without extending to state, congressional, or federal elections. Murad Awauda is the executive director of the New York Immigration Coalition. He has been in this fight for the bill since its conception.
And they should have a say in who decides what happens in local government, right? Like, this comes down to, who's picking up your trash? How are our schools getting funded? Where are resources being allocated? And how are we making sure that everyone's getting the services that they need to thrive?
The bill was introduced in early 2020 by Councilman Idanis Rodriguez, a former green card holder who became a citizen in 2000.
So this is our day. This is what we are doing. Hoy es un día histórico.
And it impacts New Yorkers like Angel Salazar, who is one of the 28,000 DACA recipients in New York City.
I'm here today to tell everyone, especially those who are opposed to someone like me to be allowed to vote, that my vote and my voice matters.
Yeah.
We've always had birds when we first started living in this country. When we first came, when we lived with our aunt, they had same exact cockatiels. It was just one though. And then we got them too. I was born in Mexico, Toluca, and I was there only for 2 years with my family. And my mom made the choice to come to over here just to give us better education opportunities that she didn't have, unfortunately. And she gave up everything, and that's why we appreciate all the sacrifices she makes to this day.
And for Salazar, the most important aspect of this new bill is that his vote can now speak on behalf of his mother.
To know that I will participate in this democratic system, and that's a dream I've always had to, impact of how things turn out, who we elect into office. And it's nice to know that I will finally be having that choice.
The newfound voting power will give communities like Salazar's the opportunity to impact local races, much like the most recent election in Staten Island, where Cesar Vargas, a Democrat, lost the election due to an overwhelming Republican vote.
We had hopes in him that, he would be able to represent our community, especially undocumented, because he does share a very similar story. But, with this borough being very Republican, he unfortunately wasn't able to win the race.
Yet, this bill has not gone unchallenged. After the bill's victory, the state's Republican Party denounced the City Council's vote and are now
pledging action against perhaps the worst idea out of New York City Democrats ever. At least give the people whose votes you're diluting the opportunity to have a say in it.
Many people don't really see us as equals. Us as undocumented people here, even if we're documented, they'll go straight to stereotypes and racism. They only treat us that way because they know that we have no voice, no power here. And with every little step that we take to becoming equals to them, they get more worried. Because I could see a challenge to their dominance and the power they hold over us.
Although the mayor has hesitations, he has no plans to veto the bill.
I still have very mixed feelings about it. I've been honest about that. That hasn't changed a bit. I think there are still some outstanding legal questions about the city's authority versus the state's in this matter. But I respect the city council. My assumption is I'm just going to respect whatever they do. But I do think there are still open questions on this for the future.
But this measure isn't new to the city. For decades, non-citizens could vote in school board elections until that came to an end in 2003. It is also not new to the country. Communities across the U.S. have already allowed non-citizen residents to vote, including cities in New York and 11 in Maryland. But this would make New York City the largest in the country, setting the stage for others to follow. On the other hand, states like Florida, Alabama, Colorado, and more have already moved to ban non-citizen voting.
That there's a purpose behind this fight. There's a purpose to giving people a voice. I'm not scared of no one oppressing my voice. I will speak, I guess, the truth. We are like a resilient group of people. We're not going to back down. We're not going to just give up at the first, when someone tells us no. We're going to keep on fighting. So now, like, I guess candidates will be forced to come and visit our communities now. Because before we were kind of ignored, because I guess they would assume that there's not much like political sway in those communities. But now that they see that we're entering these elections now, I feel like they will start giving more attention to us, and for that's going to benefit us like greatly. We will finally be like, I guess, recognized as equals, and they'll finally see that we also have a voice here. We have power here.
Yes, we can! Yes, we can!